In today's episode, we're going to show you Squoval nails, a shape that derives from a square, but its edges are visibly smoother.
Hi, I'm Connie, and this is a channel dedicated to the art of nail styling. Today's episode is all about a shape we call Squoval.
We applied an acid-free primer on the natural nail, then rubbed in perfect base. With one product, we created a frame and built the nails. We used Easy Shape Light Rose Gel. After filing the nails, we applied a thin layer of natural mineral base. We finished the whole thing off with Tip Top and applied some 7th Heaven cuticle oil to the cuticles. For the natural and extended nail, we used a moon file with a 100 to 180 gradation. We smoothed the nail surface out with a 100 to 180 buffer. For rubbing in the base and applying the gel, we used gel brush number 6. We also used a metal clamping tool to tighten the nails to obtain the perfect tunnel.
The first and most essential step is to disinfect our hands, put on gloves, then disinfect our client's hands. But by now, this is a well-known routine.
Using a file with a 180 gradation, we shorten the nail and mat its surface. We remove any excess dust with our reliable ice cream brush. We work the cuticles using the number 9 cuticle bit at a speed of 10,000 rotations. Using circular movements, we clean up the surface of the nail and push back the nail fold. We do the same on the left and right side of the nail, remembering to change the rotation. Wipe the nail off with a dust-free cotton pad soaked in purple cleaner. Our nail tech folds it into 4, which gives her more control when degreasing, and at the same time she can push back the nail fold. The next step is primer application. Here, due to the problematic nail plate, we will use an acid-free primer.
Before starting work on the nail, let's find out from our client about previous nail styles they've worked with and how they behaved on the nail. If the client noticed that the nails were continuously lifting and the product was coming off from the natural plate, it will be essential to use an acid primer. However, if we have no doubts that the product will stick, we just use an acid-free primer. A good tip is also to observe the rate at which the cleaner, the purple one, evaporates after wiping the natural nail plate. If it happens at a standard rate, so fairly quickly, we use an acid-free primer. However, if we see that it takes a little longer to evaporate, then we should apply an acid primer.
We drain off the product against the neck of the bottle from both sides of the brush and apply it to the nail surface in one long drag, as if we were painting with a transparent nail polish. We move to the perfect base application. In our case, there's no need to wait for the primer to evaporate. Apply a bit of the base to the center of the natural nail using the brush from the bottle, and then spread the product onto the nail plate using the number 6 gel brush. We use heavy movements to rub the base into those micro grooves, scratches, visible to the naked eye on the surface of the nail formed during file matting. We cure the base in the lamp for 60 seconds. We then prepare the purple forms in the following way. Stick the egg shape onto another part of the form. We do this to stiffen it. We tear at the perforation and shape the form by rolling it out with both thumbs. Thus, we create an arch ready to be placed under the nail. We fit the form on the free edge of the natural nail and check whether there's a need for any additional cuts. Since today we're making the Squoval shape, the form will be slightly raised, similar to correcting a sparrowhawk. After pulling the form up, we can see gaps on either side of the nail, which means we need a few more cuts. We cut the form to the first circular line to extend the egg. Place the cut form under the nail and check once again if it fits and if the gaps are gone. If the form fits, glue down all 3 wings from below. For a more prominent tunnel, we make cuts on both sides. This will allow the form to fit perfectly under the nail. For the Squoval shape, leave the form open, which means we have a visible large tear shape at the end of the form. We build the frame using 2 beads of Easy Shape Light Rose Gel. The first smaller bead is to be spread flat on the surface of the natural nail plate. The second, larger one, is applied to the joint of the nail with the form and spread into a square shape. If we need to clamp the form, we can, but after a minimum of 10 seconds in the lamp.
Don't forget to check that it has cured. You can tap on the form surface, for example, with tweezers. When you do hear that characteristic knock-knock sound, it means that we can clamp it.
After clamping, we hold it in the lamp for the remaining time. The frame has cured, so we can remove the form by prying it off on both sides and pulling it towards the fingertip. Before we start applying the product to the upper arch of the nail, we create the so-called ice rink.
We do not cure the ice rink. We do this step so that the 2 beads that we will use to build the upper arch will be easier to spread on the nail.
We continue using the number 6 gel brush and place the first larger bead more or less in the center of our natural nail. Then, using the brush at a gentle angle pointed towards the cuticles, approximately at the height of the apex, which should be between 1/3 and a half of the length of our natural plate. We lift the brush slightly to clearly mark out the higher point. Then, without taking the brush off the product, we continue spreading out the rest of the gel, moving towards the free edge.
Thanks to the apex, the structure of the created nail will be stable and will have the right balance.
When the product on the brush runs out, we reach for the second smaller bead and apply it on the area of the free edge of the extended nail. Keeping the brush flat, push the second bead into the first one and, without lifting the brush, drag the gel towards the free edge and the sides of the built nail. Cure the upper arch in the lamp for 60 seconds.
After about 20 seconds, we take it out from under the lamp and, again, as with the skeleton, check whether the product to be clamped has cured.
If it has, grab the nail with a clamping tool and hold it for about 5 seconds.
To highlight the clamping effect, our stylist uses a plastic clamp which she uses on the nail under the lamp for the remaining curing time.
Remove the plastic tool after curing and, with a dust-free cotton pad soaked in wipe-off cleaner, wipe down the sticky layer. The nail is ready for filing. Using the 180 file, start by working on the shape. We file the free edge, still keeping it straight.
Now, although it's a squoval, we will work out the oval shape of the free edge at the very end. This is a technique that we use because it's a shape that derives from a square, so there is no need to round it in advance. We will pamper it at the end.
After shortening and evening out the edges, move on to the side edges. We file them from underneath and only in one direction, that is, from the client to you and from the side, to slim the nail and give it a symmetrical shape. Next, place the file to the surface of the nail and, in an up-down movement, file the surface, like a tube. We direct this movement from the apex to the free edge. The next step is to look at the nail from the side of the hairline and file it in the same way, checking the edge's thickness.
Remember that its correct thickness should not exceed 0.8 millimeters, nor should it be too thin so that the free edge does not chip off during our daily activities.
We move to filing the area of the nail fold. Place the file at an angle without touching the apex. At the cuticles, we use the rounded side of the file, trying to level out the point at which the gel and the natural plate meet. When we've finished with the nail fold area, the next stage is working on the apex, where we guide the file from left to right in circular 3D movements. This is how we level and soften the apex. We do the same movement towards the free edge. The last step of filing is to place the file at an angle to the free edge, resting only on the corners of our nail. With the file held this way, stiffly file the free edge until getting a delicate angle visible on the sides of the nail's edge. For the perfect squoval shape, looking from the top, we can observe an oval shape along the tip of the nail. It should be checked and evened out in one circular motion. We reach for the buffer with a gradation of 180 and smooth the nail surface in a longitudinal and circular movement at the cuticles. Remove any excess dust with a brush and wipe with a dust-free cotton pad soaked in wipe-off cleaner. For today's squoval, we've chosen the natural look, and for that we'll use mineral base in natural, painting a thin layer over all nails to even out the colour. Cure in the lamp for 30 seconds.
And here's another tip from us. If you use the base as a colour, you can shorten its curing time to 30 seconds. If we were to build a nail with mineral base, the curing would take 60 seconds.
After curing the mineral base, which is our colour for today, we start finishing it off with a top coat of Tip Top. We apply a small layer, remembering about the perfect line of light. Cure in the lamp for 60 seconds.
After removing the hand from the lamp, remember to wait just a moment before touching the nail's surface. Let's be patient so that we can enjoy beautiful, shiny nails for as long as possible.
And to finish things off, we apply a drop of oil to the cuticles and massage it in onto the finger. It's ready. Nothing left to do but enjoy our squoval.
That's it for today's episode. Any thoughts about the squoval? Pop them in the comments down below. See you next time.